Are the slides visible? Yes. Okay. So in the previous class, we had seen about list. So lists are nothing but they are not, the collection. Like you can have multiple values, and these values will be in the order sequence. So we had seen about list and how the data or the items are stored in the list. So they are having the index. So if you want to access any particular values in the list, then you can use the index. Okay. Then negative indexes. So under negative index, what we said. So if your index value is -1, that is nothing but it is representing the last item in your list. So like that, it goes on reducing. If it is -2, it is last but one. Like this, it goes on. So we had already seen examples related to this. Then we had also seen how you can get sublist with the slices. So wherein you're specifying the range, like this 1 is to 4. Then we had seen about the length function. Then we had also seen how it is possible to change the values. Then about concatenation and replication. Then how you can remove the items from the list. So today we'll move on with the next topic, that is working with the list. Okay. So people are still joining in. Okay. So next we'll move on with the next topic, that is working in the with the list. So here we are speaking about now usually what we do, we use variables, right? So variables we use whenever we want to store some values. So for one value, one variable, okay. But if you have 50 or 100 variables, 100 values which you want to store, then in that case giving 100 different variable name is not feasible, right? So here what we are speaking about that concept. Okay. So, when you first begin writing a program, we might want to create many individual variables to store a group of similar values. So, we think we can have many variables. So, for each of the values, we think of having a variables. If you use separate variable name for each of them, program will never be able to store more values than you have variables. Suppose you tell we have declared, we have used 10 variables and we have assigned values to those 10 variables. Now if you want to store one more value, then we have only 10 variables, so that the 11th value storing it won't be possible. That is one point what you are saying. This type of program also have a lot of duplicate or nearly identical code in them. So we'll just see with an example what they are speaking about. Okay. So they're speaking about this particular example. Is it visible? So we have a program here. So here what we are doing, we are asking the user to enter the name of the cat. Okay. So just see the code here. We are using variable cat name 1, cat name 2, cat name 3, like this, cat name 6. So we are asking the user to enter the name of the cat. So how many names he can enter? He can enter 6 names. So you can see here the code is repeated, right? So the same code you're writing again and again, only the variable name will be changing, right? So that is what they're saying. This type of program have lot of duplicate or nearly identical code. So what is that identical code they're speaking about? This. So you have print enter name of code. Then again you are using the input function to read the input from the user. So same thing is repeated. Okay. So instead of using multiple repetitive variables, we can use a single variable that contains list of values. So how we were speaking about arrays in your lower semesters, we were speaking about arrays. So similar to that, here we can, instead of having like this multiple variables, we can go in for what is called as a list. Okay. So new version uses a single list and can store any number of values that the user types in. So what we are saying, using the list, it is possible for us to have or store multiple values. The benefit of using list is that your data is now in a structure. So a program is much more flexible in processing the data than it could be in several repetitive variables. So what we are saying, instead of having those many repetitive variables, go for the concept of list. Okay, so we'll just execute this particular program. So in this program, what happens? I'll just show it in the interactive. Okay, we'll go over here, visualization. Okay, so you can see here, we'll just try to execute this particular code. So first what happens, the first print statement, enter the cat name 1. So then this particular line, what does it do? It is using the input function. So input function is nothing but it is waiting for the user to enter a data. Okay, so whatever you have entered, that will be in the form of string. So I'll enter some name as new. Okay, I'll hit submit. Okay. So the first name is Neo. Then again it is asking enter the name of the cat. So I'll be entering the second name as Leo. And again the third name. So you can see here what is happening. The code is repeating input, input every time you're entering. So again the fourth name. So just give some name. So 5 names are done. So 6 names are entered. So the cat names are, so you can see here in each of the variable the names are stored. Okay, so this is a global variable that is under a global frame. Then what are you going to do? You're just going to print those names. So you can see here the print statement cat name 1. So in cat name 1, what do you have? You have Neo, and along with that the concatenation here, the next name. So you can see here, the names of the cat what you have entered is just displayed here, and in between you have space. That space is nothing but, you can see here, you have given it within the course here. So this is nothing but the space, and this plus symbol is nothing but the concatenation what you're doing. So with the first string, after a space, the next string is concatenated. Okay, so this is a code wherein you're asking the user to enter something, in this case the name of the cat. So what they're saying in this is, here to enter the value of to enter the names of 6 cats, you have used 6 variables, right? That is cat name 1 to cat name 6. So instead of that, what we can do, we can go in for the concept of list. So we'll see the second program. I'll just close this program. We'll go to the second program. That is the same program, but you're using the concept of list. Okay, so I'll just edit this. So we'll just see how this particular code executes. So here we are using the concept of list here. So now cat name, that is your empty list whose name is cat names. So empty list is created. Now while it is true, that is your looping, enter the name of the cat. Okay, so whatever name you will be entering here. So I'll enter again the same name. So I have entered new. Okay, so what name I have entered? So it is asking the user, so enter the name of cat 1. So enter the name of cat, and what is this one? String length of, so length of cat names, how much is there? Plus 1. Okay, so that particular value is converted into strings because it has to be printed over here. Or enter nothing to stop. So if you want to stop this, so you have given while true, so it will be continuously asking you. If you want to come out of that, you don't type anything. So we'll see, we have written the code for that too here. So what is happening here, it is asking the user to enter an input. Okay, so you have entered the first value, and after that the next statement here is to check if name is equal to. So if you have not entered anything, so that is the next condition here. So enter nothing to stop. So if you're not given anything, then we have used the break statement, which is used to come out of this loop. So otherwise, now I will end. I will enter something. Okay. So what is this? Cat names is equal to cat names plus name. So initially, your cat names, that is this particular location. So here in the beginning, what happened? The list was created. In the list, we said that again each of the elements to index we are using the, or to access each of the elements or values, or you can also say items of the list, we are using the index. So you can see here this particular name, the first name what you have entered, that is stored in this index position 0. Like this it goes on. So again it will be asking you to enter a name. So the next name what you have entered, what happens, whatever name you have entered, the next name, that will be, here you can see the next name what you have entered, it is here in this variable name. Okay, then you see what happens. So what happens, you are concatenating. So first you had in list you had only new, so for that you're concatenating the next name. So in cat names of 1, you have the next name, that is Leo. Okay, like this it goes on. So again if I'm entering the next name, mm, I'll enter the next name. So what happens? So you can see the next name entered is stored in this variable name, and that will be stored in list of 2. Like this it goes on. Okay, so if you want to terminate, then what you have to do, you have to type nothing. Okay, so if you're not typing anything, then what happens, you can see here if name is equal to, this is nothing but the condition here, you have not typed anything. In that case what you're going to do, you're going to break. And after break what happens, the cat names are, so whatever names you have entered, here, so you have used the for loop here. So a name is a looping variable in cat names. So cat names is nothing but the name of the list. So in that, starting from this index position 0, all the names will be displayed. So you can see here for names in cat names, so first will be Neo. After that, next the index position will be 1, so the next value will be Leo. And again the index position will be 1, so the third name is printed. After that you're terminating, that is your loop, for loop condition becomes false, you're coming out of the loop. So this is the example what is given. So instead of using that variable name, that is cat name 1, cat name 2, cat name 3, like this up to 6, we can go for this particular concept. Okay, so this is an example which is telling you that is how you can work with the list. This is the thing here. Next we'll go to the next topic, that is using for loops in the list. So how you can use the for loop. So I'll just close this particular program. Okay, so next we'll go for the for loop. So we have already worked with for loop, we know how is the working of the for loop, right? So in the previous session we had already seen the working of the for loop. Okay, so we'll just see how this particular thing works. So for range, initially for I in range of 4, that is starting from 0 up to 4, you're printing. So I is printed, again I is incremented, I becomes 1, it is within the range, so 1 is printed. Again I becomes 2, it is within the range, so you're printing 2 again. Next I becomes 3, and 3 is within the range, you're printing. Next I becomes 4, so now what happens, for I in range you have given the condition as 4, that is total 4, so 0 to 3, these many numbers will be printed. So this is a general example of for, which we have already seen in the previous session. Now we'll just see another example for which can be used in the list. So if you want to use this for along with the list, then how you can modify this particular program. So you can just see here. So indentation is very important. Okay. So we'll see for I that is your looping variable in the range 0, 1, 2 and 3. So this is nothing but how you can use the for loop in list. Okay, so we'll see here. So I is 0, yes, the initial case. Then you're printing I, and after that the next condition I will be incremented, I becomes 1. Again 1 is within the range, you're printing 1. Again I becomes 2, 2 is within the range, you're printing 2. Again I becomes 3, 3 is within the range, the next statement will be you're printing 3. Next I becomes 4, when I becomes 4 this particular case will be false, or the condition is false here, so you'll be printing 0, 1, 2, 3. So this example shows you how you can use the for loop in list. Okay, we have one more example, we'll just check out that. Okay, we'll just see this particular code here. So here first you have the list name, as name of the list is supplies. Okay, so you can see here the list is created and it is also initialized. So in the first, that is the 0th index, you have pens. First index position you have stapler. Then you have okay, then you have flame throwers, then you have binders. So this is how your list is initialized with the values. So now we'll go to the for loop again. So just check your for loop. It is the looping variable is I in the range len of supplies. So what is this len function do? Len function is nothing but that is going to give you the length, right? That is going to give you the length of this particular list. So in this particular list, how many items you have? You have 4 items. So what is the range here? For I in range, so initially it will be 0, I value will be 0, and here length of supply. So if you can just edit this, we'll just try out. So instead of this length supply is going to give you the length of this particular list supplies. So here how many items you are having? You are having 4 items. Okay, so it is going to return you a value 4. So your for loop will range from 0 in range 4. Okay, so total how many items or elements you have to display here? 0 to 3, total will be 4. Okay, so we'll just trace this program. So first I is equal to 0. So how it will be displayed? Index of string I. So we know this along with the string you have to display. So for that purpose the integer value should be converted into string. Okay, so for that purpose you have written this plus. In supplies is plus supplies of I. Again plus is your concatenation supplies of I. So your I value is 0. In your list whose name is supply, supplies of 0, you have pen. So pen is displayed. Similarly next one I will be incremented. Next value of I will be 1. So the data that will be printed is index 1 in supply is stapler. So that should be the output what will be displayed. So index 1 is supplies in stapler. Again you're going to come here. So now what happens? Your I value will be incremented. So the next statement that will be printed, that is in position 2 you have flame throwers. So we print, sorry, yeah. So index of 2 in supplies is flame throwers. Again your I value is incremented, I becomes 3. So remember the range here, I in range. So it will be 0 to length of supplies. Length of supply is 4. So total it should be, so 4, when you say 4, it should be from 0 to 3. Okay. So the next case when I becomes 3, it is going to print. So index 3 in supplies is binders. So now what happens? Your program is done. That is when your I value is changing, that is when it is incrementing, your condition becomes, or your for loop becomes false. So this is how you can use for loop with list. I hope I'm clear. Okay. Then next, we'll go to the next topic, that is the in and out operator. So what is this in and out operator? So this operator can be used to determine whether a value is or isn't in a list with the in and out operator. So this particular operator is used to check whether the value what you have given is there in the list or not. Okay, if it is there, then it is going to give you a true value. If it is not, then it is going to give you a false value. Like other operators, in and out are used in the expression and connect two values, a value to look in for a list and the list where it may not be found. Again, this is going to evaluate in the terms of boolean value. So we already said boolean is, it is going to return the value either true or false. So again, we'll see with an example here. So I'll just give here. So I'll just give it in the interactive shell here. So we'll come back to our shell. Okay, so I'll just okay. So you can see here, this is a list. This is a list what we have. In the list we have names hello, hi, howdy and his. Okay. So we are using the in operator. So we are using the in operator. So already told in the slides what it says. In operator is used to tell whether the data. Now in this case, what is the string you have given? You have given as howdy. So you want to check whether howdy is there in the list or not. If it is there, it is going to give you a true value. If it is not there, it is going to give you a false value. Okay. Now suppose I'll give like this. Okay. I'll give this particular data here. So we'll do like this. Just copy paste. Okay, I'll just copy paste here. Then I want to check whether cat is there in spam. So in this case, in this example, what did we do? We have a variable here as spam. So for that, we have initialized with the list here. That is, in the list you have the value hello, hi, howdy and yes. So you want to check whether the data here, in this case, what is the value you're giving here? We are giving a string as cat. You're checking whether that cat is there in this variable spam. So if it is there, it is going to return a true value. If it is not, it is going to give you a false value. Now in this case, cat is not there, so it is going to return a false value. Similarly, other way what you can do, that is one more example given here. Just copy paste this particular. Okay. Now you just see here, howdy. Howdy is not in spam. Not in spam. So if it is in the spam, it is going to give you true value, right? Now in case howdy is there, if I would have given instead of not in, if I give in, means what? Whether you're checking whether it is in the spam or not. So if you are given as in, it will give you true, but now here we are using not in. Okay, here we are using not in. So is howdy there? It is there. So for that purpose, not in, for this it is giving as false. Okay, so same thing, if you give howdy in spam, then it will give you true value. Okay, that we already seen here, right? Howdy in, if you give howdy in, then it is going to give you true. Now in this case we have used not in, so for that purpose it is returning you a false value. Similarly, the last example related to this, we'll see whether cat not in spam. Cat not in spam. If you give cat in spam, so in the previous example you saw here, cat in spam, cat is not there, so for that purpose it returned false. Now in this case it is returning true. Why it is returning true? Because we have used not in. Okay, not in, whether cat is not there in the list. Yes, cat is not there in the list, so for that purpose it is returning your value true. I hope I'm clear, guys. Are you all there? Did you understand the meaning of in and not in? Okay. At least okay. Thank you. Thank you for responding. Okay. So now we'll go with the next topic. For that, I'll just close out. Next, we'll go to the next example. So one more example related to this. Okay. One more example given here with respect to the same not in and not in. So we'll just see visually the execution of this particular program. So here what is happening? We have a list called my pets. In my pets, I have the name as Zophie, Puka, and Fat Tail. Okay, so these are the things that is given to you in your textbook. So same thing I've written. So it is asking the user to enter a name. So whatever name you have given, if it is not in the pets, not in pets, then it will print as I do not have the pet name. Otherwise, it is going to print the name. Okay, so we'll just see here. So you can see here when you give like this, that is you have given a name for your list and you have initialized, so that now what happens, the list is initialized. So list my pets of 0 you have this name, my pets of 1 you have Puka, and my pets of 2 you have Fat Tail. Okay, so you're entering a pet name, so you're asking the user to enter a pet name. So you can see here enter a pet name. So for enter a pet name, you're using here the input function, that is you're asking the user to enter a name. So I will give the name as mm, Zophie, and I'll hit submit. So now what will happen here, you are checking if name not in pet name, if the name is not there, not there. Now in this case what happens, it is there, right? Zophie is there, it is a first it is in the first index position. So what happens, the else part will be executed and the name Zophie is my pet will be printed. Okay, the same thing will again start from the beginning. For not, you give the name that is not there in the list. Okay, so again the list is created as well as initialized with the value. Now ask the user to enter the input. So user will be, okay, in this case I'll just start from the beginning. Okay, so again same thing, enter a pet name, you're asking the user to enter a name, pet name. I've given a name as Neo, but in your list you have the names as these Zophie, Puka, and Fat Tail. So these are the names, but I have given a name which is not there in the list. Okay, so now we'll just see what happens. I'll give submit. So it is checking here name. The name what I have given here is, so you can see here in the variable name I have given as Neo. So what happens if Neo is not in my pets? So not in. So that particular name which I have given is not there in the list. So in this case, this particular condition is true, right? So when it is true, what happens? The corresponding statement here, I do not have a pet named whatever name I have given. So I'll be getting a output as I do not have a pet named Neo. So this is a program which is given. That is how you can use list here. Okay, how you can in and not in operators. So how you can use the in and not in operators in the list. So I hope I'm clear with this. So we'll move on with the next topic. Okay. Next topic is multiple assignment tricks. So this is nothing but okay, how you can multiple assignment. Multiple assignment is a shortcut that lets you assign multiple variables with the values in the list in one line of code. We'll see what is the meaning of this. So who has joined in now? Okay. Okay. We'll come back here. So how you can assign multiple variables with values in a list in one line. So just see here, you have an example here. So you have a list whose name is cat. Okay, and in that cat you have some values or items here. So what are those items? You have fat, black and loud. So these are the items. So cat of 0. So what are you doing here? Multiple variables with a single value in the list. For that we are speaking about. But here what you're doing, for one variable size, you are assigning the value cat of 0. So according to this, what will be the size? Size is fat. Cat of 0, you have fat. And for the next variable color, you are assigning the value cat of 1. So color will be black. And disposition, you are assigning or initializing with the value cat of 2. So disposition will be loud. This is how you can assign values to multiple variables. This is one way. So what we are saying in multiple assignment trick is, instead of going like this, instead of using multiple lines, using assigning the values, we can go in and do it everything in a single line. Okay, so how to do that, we'll just see here. So I'll just give here. Okay. I'll just give here cat. Okay. So you can see here. Now if I give, now in this case, so what happens in this case? Size is initialized to fat and color is initialized to black and disposition is initialized to loud. So what we are saying here is, instead of having like this multiple lines, we'll do everything in a single line. Okay, that is what here we are speaking about in case of multiple assignment tricks. So instead of going for multiple lines, we will try to have everything in a single line. So what happens in this case? Size of 0 will be initialized to fat. In this particular example also the same thing will be done. So if you are saying size, means it will have the value fat, color is black and disposition is loud. Same thing now, we are having one more example here. So same cat will use. So in cat I have only, okay. In cat, I have only three values. Now, what I will do, I will try to initialize size, color, and along with that, I will add one more attribute as name, and I will try to initialize to cat. So, just see what happens in this case. Now, we are getting an error. So, why is this error we are getting? The purpose of getting this error is, the number of variables and the length of the list should be equal. Okay, so the length of the list, you have only 3 items, but here in the variables what you're telling, you are giving 4 variables. So because of that we are having this error. So always remember, whenever you want to do this kind of assignment, make sure the number of items in the list as well as the number of variables should be same. Okay, so that is about your multiple assignment trick. So I'll close off with this. Next thing, augmented assignment operators. So here we are going to see an operator. This operator we had already learned in your lower semesters. That is nothing but your shorthand. So there we were calling it as a shorthand operator. Plus is equal to. So here it is augmented assignment operators. Okay. So when assigning values to a variable, we frequently use the variable itself. So what they are saying is, they are speaking about this. So what do we do? So spam, I'll just type this. Okay. So usually what do we do? I'll use a variable called as spam. I will initialize with the value sum 40, and after that I want to increment the value of the spam. So usually what we do, we use the same variable once again, right? So spam is equal to spam plus 1. Now when I check the value of spam, what will I have? I will have an incremented value. So that is 41. So that is what they're saying here. Usually what do we do when assigning a value to a variable? We will frequently use the variable itself. So what we are telling in augmented assignment is, instead of going for this type, that is use the variable and again increment it, instead of doing like that, we will use the augmented assignment operator, that is nothing but plus is equal to. So plus is equal to, we have already learned about this concept. So what does plus is equal to do? That is called as a shorthand operator, right? So it is going to do the same topic, same task as what spam plus 1 is going to do, right? Here if I'm giving spam plus is equal to 1, so spam plus is equal to 1 is going to do the same thing what spam is equal to spam plus 1 is doing. So I hope you have understood the meaning of augmented assignment operator. So augmented assignment operator is nothing but that is equivalent to the shorthand operator what you have learnt in your previous semesters. Okay. So here the table is given to you about the different augmented assignment statement. So spam is equal to spam plus 1. You can write it as spam plus is equal to 1. Spam is equal to spam minus 1. It is spam minus is equal to 1. So this is the same thing what you already learnt in the previous semester under shorthand operators. Okay. So that is a thing. Along with that, the plus is equal to operator can also do string and list concatenation. So we had learned that that is plus is equal to is going to perform the incrementing operation, right? So here in this case, spam plus is equal to 1 means it is going to do spam is equal to spam plus 1. Along with that, the other thing what this plus is equal to operator can do here is it can also do list concatenation, and star equal to can do list replication. So in the previous sessions we had seen plus is nothing but the concatenation operator, and star is nothing but the replication operator. So the same thing we are going to see here. So we'll just see with an example here. So we'll give spam is equal to, so you can see here it's there. So we'll give as hello. Then after that spam plus is equal to, if I'm giving world, then what happens? Plus is equal to, that is it is doing concatenation. So when you give spam, what happens? You can see here it is concatenated. Similarly, the next one we will see. I have bacon, and I will give the value as Zophie, and next bacon is now we are seeing the replication. Okay, so for replication you can use star equal to. So now when I check the value that is stored in bacon, then what I should get? I should get the replicated value. Okay, so you can see here Zophie is replicated. How many number of times? How many number of times you have told in the integer value? Okay, so this is about the augmented assignment, or you can also call it as a shorthand. So only difference here, the additional thing what you should remember is plus is equal to will also be doing string concatenation, and star equal to will be doing the replication, okay, of the item that is stored in your list. So I think we are time, right? So the next things we'll do in the next session. So what we had seen today, so today we had seen about how we can work with the list, and we had seen some examples related to that, and how you can use for loops with the list, and how we can use in and not. So in is nothing but you're checking whether the string what you have given is there in the list, and not in the sense if the string what you've given is not there in the list, then it is going to return true, whereas in, if it is there in the list, then it is going to return a true value. Then multiple assignments, what we are saying, like this multiple variables, instead of writing like this, we can write the entire thing in a single line. And the last one what we had seen is augmented assignment, that is nothing but that is equivalent to the shorthand operator what you have already learned in the previous semesters. Along with that, the additional one what you should remember is for plus is equal to, that is used for concatenation, and the star equal to, that is for replicating the data of your string. Okay, I hope I'm clear with all the topics of today. So tomorrow we'll be going to see about methods. That is, methods are nothing but the functions what you've learnt in your lower semester about that. Okay, so thank you all.